Competition, comparison, judgment. The real contest might be the one within. Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Lama podcast. I'm Gunjan.
I'm Rajeev.
Rajeev, I want to peel the onion about competition, comparison, judgment. And the perspective that I want to bring in is of intent. When we talk about comparison, when we talk about competition, real question here is what is the intent when you compare yourself or you compare anyone else to anyone else? Is it giving you a superiority complex or an inferiority complex or a drive to do better or maybe pivot from what you're already doing? On one hand, we say that don't compare. On the other hand, how do you measure? What's the yardstick of your progress? And there are times, and I want to bring this as an introspection and not getting disheartened, but giving you the drive to go forward and find that meaning.
So, couple of things. One, when we say compare, I assume you're talking about comparing yourself to the others, right? Not the comparison of person A to person B.
So it both ways. It is both ways. Comparing to yourself, which you will always rate yourself as like you are a dukhi soul, because whatever happened in past was a golden period ever. And when you compare yourselves to the others and influential people, not influencers, but influential people like Medha Patkar or any other person who has done some social impact, compared to that.
So but you're comparing yourself to somebody else. You're not saying the person A versus person B,
Yes,
right? So that becomes a judgment that you are
right.
passing a judgment on person A versus person B, that he or she is good or bad. So we are confining our discussion to myself compared to you or somebody else and vice versa. Yeah. So it is an interesting conundrum because on one hand, you're, as you said, that we are told not to compare with anybody. On the other hand, what is the yardstick? So my position on this is that it is not comparison with the others. We need to focus on who are the people that we want to follow, or which trait of a specific person that I want to follow. Let's say you come across a person in life, personal or office or wherever, and you like or you're mesmerized by the oratory skills of that person, or presentation skills, or some other skills.
Or
Now
EQ.
you can, yeah, you can, you can, at that time say, okay, I want to be, like this person whenever I'm presenting. So that a very healthy competition. Where it goes wrong is when you say, oh, look at this person, I am so pathetically bad. So you are passing a judgment on yourself. And that I
Demeaning
think is
yourself.
demeaning yourself, passing a judgment on yourself. Essentially, you are giving yourself an excuse to not do anything. When we say the competition should be within you, is the right thing to say, because today I may not be very good at presentation skills, but I start learning, I start practicing, and 6 months to a year down the line, I become really good. So that is what true competition should be.
Uh, so what's the key here, Rajiv? Just knowing I'm not good at it is a different thing. How about the effort part?
Yeah,
Which
effort has to be made.
which is missing. Like people say, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. And I want to understand that please focus on area, what you're good at. If you're not good at something and that is part of your growth, work on it. Where is the effort? Especially in today's time when people say, oh, I don't know Google Sheets. And I'm like, We are in 2025, in the time where we have Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, YouTube videos. There's plethora of options that we have. Still,
But what if the
if
person
you,
doesn't want to learn? See,
no,
we are missing, there are a couple of things that we are missing here.
right.
Somebody comes in, or I look at, let's say, sports, cricket, and I say, oh, I'm not good at cricket. The second question is, do I really want to be good at cricket? If the
Precisely.
answer is yes, then the question arises, okay, what am I going to do to be good at cricket? If the answer is no, I don't care, cricket is an entertainment for me, or whatever else. The same thing that the example I gave, let's say you go attend a conference and you see a keynote speaker who's very engaging, audience is totally engaged and everything. You really think, this is how a person who is, presenting something, these are the right presentation skills. The second question is, do I want to improve my presentation skills? If yes, then obviously you look at the person, you learn by observation, you learn by reading, practice and everything. On the other hand, somebody can say, well, I'm never going to be invited as a keynote speaker. I really don't care. So it depends. This comes back to the original statement you made, the intent behind comparison. What is your intent behind the comparison? Is it that you want to improve upon that particular thing, or you are, gaslighting yourself that I'm not good at it, so I'm pathetic. I cannot do anything in life because of this. So you are giving yourself an excuse and gaslighting or judgment. So it comes down to exactly what you want to do or not want to do.
Rajiv, here's a question. We talk about competition and then comparison and then passing on a judgment. And please refresh my memory about the phrase that you gave about judgment, that it's easy to judge when you are not. Like, generally, people say if you really want to know
Yeah, yeah,
someone,
yeah,
don't
yeah,
step
yeah,
in their shoes, walk a mile in it. And there was something
yeah,
similar to this, what you have talked about
yeah,
judgment.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know where it was, but I would like to know what
yeah.
was the
Let
idea
me,
behind.
yeah. I,
Yes.
I I think the phrase was, uh, do not rush to judge because life has not tested you yet.
I differ. It was something like never judge a person's situation when you've never been in it.
Oh, okay. So the
Something.
two different things. So yes, so that the second, the one that you are referring to is what I use in my book Rise.
Mhm.
That do not pass a judgment unless you have traversed the other person's path. So if let's say, I am motivated by money and I have done everything to make millions. The other person is not motivated with money. The other person is motivated by fulfillment, by joy or whatever. So I should not be passing a judgment on the other person that look at me, I'm more successful than the other person because I have more money than he or she. So that's what I meant, that you don't know what drives the other person, what are their motivations. Money is one of 10,000. Actually, money is not even a yardstick of success. Money is simply a yardstick of your productivity, of your uh, talent, of your effort. And I think we talked about in one of the episodes where people, the example that I gave of a doctor in Bangalore. I was amazed by that person's humility and down to earth attitude about money and everything. So, but can I say that I am more happy than he, or he is more happy than me? I find my happiness in different things. He or she or somebody else may find their happiness in different things, or fulfillment. So it ultimately comes down to knowing yourself what drives you, what is your life's purpose. When, let's say, you are writing your own obituary, this is another friend of mine who used to, although joke about it, uh, that, the first thing to do when you wake up is to read the obituaries in the newspaper and see if your name is there.
And the idea behind this,
The idea behind that actually was, and this is a phrase I started using recently, is that you need to learn how to meditate on your death.
that's
So
deep and
when you
dark.
meditate on your death, then a lot of things transform in your own psyche. One is that, what is it that I'm trying to do in life? What is it I'm trying to achieve in life? Let's say I have $100 million in the bank account, but I've lived my life very miserably. All my relationships, have been fucked up. Will I die happy with $100 million in the bank? Now, that does not mean that you swing the pendulum entirely the other way, that you become, pain in the ass for all your, friends and family, and you like show so much of love with them that you give away all your money, and now you're trying poor with everybody laughing at you that, hey, here's another stupid person. So the thing is that the judgment will be, there are few things. One, judgment will be passed on you no matter what you do. That's a fact of life.
Even if you don't do anything, judgment will be passed. So
Yeah,
bypass
yeah,
that.
yes.
It's not about, see, my question here is that how can we shift our focus to the internal qualities? It's all about the mindset that I'm talking about. It's all about the shift that I want to talk about, where it's always said in this modern term that please do not compare or compete or judge. Whereas I want to bring that it's not that bad of a thing.
Correct. It is
Learn
not
to
0 or 1 game. It is not 0 or 1 game.
learn to
You
look
do
at
need to
the
compete. You do need, because as you said, that it also gives you the drive to change. It
and,
gives you the drive. And actually, what I think, and this is my opinion, that people who boast that they do not compete, they are actually just giving an excuse not to do anything. A lot of people tell me, oh, I want to, no, the statement that I've heard is, keep the expectation so low that you're never disappointed.
yeah, expect
You know,
disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. Yes.
yeah, but the thing is that, that's stupidity. Why would you say that do not expect anything of me? Even a rock would say that expect at least something from me.
And here's my thing, Rajiv, when there are hardly any times that I've agreed to you, but here's my thing. If expectation is not there, that growth will not be there. And it can be anything. It can be a husband-wife relationship, mom-son, or even a relationship with your peers or juniors or
Yeah,
seniors,
friendships, everything.
friendships,
Yes,
anything. If
everything.
there's no expectation, please do not expect that relationship to grow.
No, that is a dead relationship already. If there is no expectation of two people amongst each other, you might as well call that relationship as dead. If it is husband and wife having no expectation of each other, they should get divorced. You're just wasting each other's life.
And coming to even corporate part, if there are expectations, there should be clarity and a continuous feedback, because it's not growth of one person, it's a growth of entire entire community, if I can,
Yeah, team,
team
peers,
or
everything. Yes.
whatever. So here's my thing, that it's good to keep expectations with clarity and with feedback, and
And without
not
judgment.
and without judgment and without demeaning anyone's work.
Yeah, that is judgment, right? Demeaning means that you're passing a negative judgment on somebody.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So here's again what I want to bring here is a positivity that one needs to look. when they talk about comparisons or competition, we all see how we did last year. If you talk about company success, if you talk about team success, or if you talk about individual success, we all see that, okay, where we were and where we are now. What are the areas of improvement?
Yes. And that is why I call it always healthy competition. There should always be healthy competition within yourself and amongst everybody else. So healthy competition means that, let's say, if your friend gets promoted or your peer gets promoted ahead of you, or they end up earning more money than you, then you are happy for them, not jealous. So but that takes maturity. That takes so much of, I would say, stability and confidence in yourself that we usually lack. Although people will claim, outwardly, oh, I'm so happy for you, but internally they are very jealous and they are angry at themselves, or they would be passing a judgment, oh, he or she knows this, or he or she is taking favor, this and that, so many different things, without saying that, hey, he or she really worked hard to achieve what they did. I'm not saying that 100% everybody works hard. Sometimes, I talk about in my book also, sometimes it is a matter of timing, luck, your readiness, and so many other factors. But you have to be above all. Otherwise, you will keep running this on a treadmill and going nowhere.
So, Rajiv, here's the thing. In a team, people who have almost equal talent, right? Manager, I don't know how to phrase this, but only one person can get promoted. Manager can go and talk to both of them that one person will be promoted and another person will get promotion later, maybe next year or next to next year. But this will just make the work environment little conducive and not making anyone feel that I was lesser. It was just that position was
But
one.
what gives you guarantee that next year will be your turn?
That's what I'm saying. That not this year, not next year, maybe next year or maybe next to next year. See, Rajiv, we all need
But
mentors and
but
we
that but the team may change. Today you are 5 people
yes.
in the team. Next year maybe there are only 3 or 7 or 10.
And there are a lot of
Somebody has
variable.
left.
Yeah, there are a lot of
10,000 variables.
variables. A project might not support, company might not support, team lead might not
Anything, yeah.
support.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that I want to bring, Rajiv, and this is coming from book Rise, written by Rajiv Modest Nanda. And it's about the year-end discussion that we all have rights to go up to a manager and ask why I was not promoted. These were my KRAs. This is all what I have done. And the feedback is, this was your work. What have you done beyond work
Yeah.
that you are coming out and we should give you
Yeah.
this promotion? Or
I have been on both sides of the table, so that's what I wrote in the book also.
and
The
it's
cop
it's not a easy thing to give feedback upwards. Managers can be very intimidating.
correct, correct. Not just managers, giving feedback upwards, is the authority is always intimidating. Very, very few cultures in the world would encourage people to, or do encourage, Western cultures encourage much more than Eastern cultures. So this is cultural phenomena also, how we are brought up. We are told to respect the authority, without question, to respect, old people or age. So there's so many things that we are
Authority to
told.
obedience.
Exactly. So there are so many things that come in play. The manager will always have 10 different corporate lines. One of the key thing I remember that I was always told is communication skills. And one time I did ask my manager, hey, I have written 2 books. What do you mean that my communication skills are not good? This is like long back when my second book was published. So I said, I have been a keynote speaker in PMI conferences. I used to teach Intel university classes on soft skills, leadership, and everything. So I confronted that. What do you mean that my communication skills are not good? Because I was one of the most coveted instructor for certain classes.
I can't believe you got that feedback.
Oh yeah,
Please go ahead.
I always used to. But the thing is that you have to understand that the managers and leaders, they are not there to serve you. They really don't care whether you get promoted or not get promoted. They are there to make sure that their team is meeting the objectives that they are given. So they are balancing that. Now there are always favoritism. Yes, there will always be, let's say, and very it may sound very crude to people, but let's say if you and I are in front of the manager and we are exactly the same talent, we have done exactly, we are on the same project and we have delivered the project, you will be promoted first before I will be promoted. There are biases.
I think it's the other way around, but please finish and I'll
no, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And this is where I think the realities differ based on the perception on both sides. But we'll talk. We have talked a lot about the different gender themes in our earlier.
But here I want to discuss that why when women do not get promoted, it's never the work which is given as a feedback, no matter how hard we work, feedback that we get, oh, it's always about your kid, his school, his PTMs. And person on the other side also has a kid and he'll do similar things, taking pens to the doctors or going for the PTMs or helping kids with the projects or meeting the deadlines that kids have these days. Both the genders will be doing the same thing, but it's women, if she's not getting promoted, this is the reason which is given to him. For men, it will be different, that maybe communication skills are not good, maybe you were intimidating, or maybe you're not good
whatever
as a team, whatever it is, maybe you're not good as a team leader, whatever it is, there is a very different feedback that is given to men
different
compared
feedback
to
even between one man and another man, one woman, another woman.
Point I'm trying to bring is that when they give feedback to men, it's more based on work. But when they give feedback to women, it's more based on her personal life. Whereas we all have that right to maintain that work-life balance, but still these things come in year-end conversations.
So
and these are not very direct. These are not very direct. It's just left to your imagination.
So that's where I think the imagination is wrong. I can tell you at least the corporate cultures that I am aware of, and I have been a manager, and I have also been. I always have the managers, so both sides of the table. When it is at least the companies I have worked with, this was never the case. So it is most. So again, the thing is that this is where I would say the context will differ. You will talk to another third person, then I'm sure they have their own perspective. But coming back to the key question, comparing with yourself with others, comparing or judgmenting or passing judgment to yourself or to others. There, I think it will be also these biases will come in play.
Rajiv, I just want to make this clear. You have no idea how many people come and talk to me. No idea. And
I'm sure.
They'll come and they'll present things in a manner where I'm forced to believe that, okay, this thing did not happen because of this is the situation. I don't know how much things are lost in communication when they are telling me the story that this is the conversation they had with their manager. And as they say, you suffer less in reality compared to how much you suffer in your imagination. Maybe it's just in back of our minds, but I have seen the quality of feedbacks that is given to other gender, and it's not about me. I got a feedback from my husband for taking my son's name that
Is he your manager? Is your
No,
husband your manager?
no. And this is where I'm very thankful to him for bringing this in. I will, so there was a lot of work which was coming to me, and I wanted to push back because it was not under my purview. In fact, that was my understanding. And I said that, I have a small kid to take care of, and I cannot do this much of work. And my husband was listening to all this, and he's like, come here. Is that your work? I said, I don't know because my colleague, and I was very new to the firm. I don't know. My colleagues don't do it. And I do not have much clarity because there's a lot of gray area in this work. He said, ensure whether it's your work or not your work. Please do not bring kids in between or parents in between because when you say this, manager will doubt their decision of hiring you. That's why people don't hire moms or because this is the thing they bring and they do not have clarity what is their work and what is not their work when things get dumped on you. So that was a very big message. And I would ask, why is this work coming to me? That was a better question to ask rather than pushing back and saying that, I have so many responsibilities as well beyond work. So
Okay. No,
so
s-
so this is
I do not know. I have not heard both sides of the story. So I always refrain from passing a judgment unless I have heard both sides of the story.
that's a
I
fair thing
used
to
to,
do.
but this is something that I have now, started.
We are
Uh,
matured enough to.
well, yeah, because the thing is that if you reflect on yourself also, so many times we pass judgment on somebody or a situation without even making an effort to hear both sides of the story. And then, yes, we live in more imagination than in reality. That is always true. So I would say, there is no answer, right or wrong answer to competition, the, the judgment, the promotions and all that. Those are, I would say, the the topic we started with is very, very different from corporate promotions and all that. There's a lot of politics there. There's a lot of other nuances
Favorism.
at
Yeah.
many things. It's not just that. I remember that, when we were at Intel and the the management took a decision on diversity and inclusion. And there we were given quotas that, okay, you have to promote X number of diverse candidates. So there we were, because, I would not want my rating to go down. So even if the person is not as, uh, I would say, qualified as non-diverse candidate, I would still promote the diverse candidate because my job is on the line. So there are so many complexities in corporate life and even personal life also,
Yeah.
that
And
we cannot simply say, why did this happen? Whether was it just, not just, and so forth. That's why everybody says the competition should always be within you, not outside you. That's easy to measure. Are you a better person today than you were yesterday? Are you a better communicator than you were yesterday? Are you more healthy than you were yesterday?
but then still there'll be a comparison that you have improved, but still way behind than your peers.
You don't care. You should not care.
Easier said
That
than
you see,
done.
that's where the challenge is, and that's where the heavy lifting is. That not caring about where you stand in the line. Are
This
you
is
in the first, at the last, or somewhere in between? Because there are 7 billion people in the world.
Rajiv, I somehow believe it's more about external validations that you seek for.
Okay, if that tickles your bone.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about myself, but what I have observed, it's more of a external validations that people seek
Yeah, but that's
rather
what I'm
than
saying. That's then you are falling in the trap of being judged and being judgmental. Then be happy with it. Then if somebody says, hey, you are not successful because you didn't make that much of money, or you're not successful because you don't drive this car, then don't sulk. Then say, yes, I am not successful because of the yardsticks that I have given to somebody else. The problem is then you start sulking, oh, then you start actually bad mouthing a person. What do you think that, I drive my happiness from this? I'm not like rat race, and I'm not in a rat race like you are.
Yesterday, I was telling someone, you know what's real happiness? After having breakfast, if you can go for a nap of half an hour. And
Good.
I think that's
I think that
ultimate.
should be the yardstick. We should ask
That should
everybody.
be. Were you
We
able
should
to get a
ask.
nap? Were
Yes.
you able to get a nap
Yes.
after breakfast? So,
Yep.
well, thank you. Thanks, Rajeev. Quite a discussion today, and closing lines from your side.
Well, I'm reminded of there's a book by Richard Bach, Illusion.
Illusions.
Yes. And I think, and one of I remember those quotes because I have read that book like, I don't know, a million times. And because there he is focused on self-realization, self-actualization. So, he makes I'm paraphrasing, it's not going to be 100%, is that, you have the freedom to be yourself, your true self now, today, and nothing should stand in your way. So what that means is that, you have to understand who you are and be happy with it.
And I want to extend this, where Richard Bach said that most difficult thing is to convince a bird that it is free.
Yes.
And that is from GLS, not from Illusions, but yes, it's the same author, and
Yeah.
how these two things are intervened. But
Yep.
okay. Thank you, Rajeev. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Do visit our website, thelielama.com, THELILLAMA.com. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you want to come on our show. We're more than happy to host you. Thank you.
Thank you.